Hallo zusammen. Well, if you only know a couple of the more popular Tool songs, like Sober, for instance, and well, 46 and 2 and whatnot, you might be wondering why this video even exists, because why is there a video about a Tool song in German? Well, because there is exactly one Tool song in German. Die Eier von Satan. And today, I, a native German, want to talk about that song. What is actually, well, the meaning behind it, what that's actually about. I guess some of you might already know the secret behind the song, but for everyone else, this might, well, be a little surprise. This might be interesting to watch, so let's just do that. Let's check out Die Eier von Satan and find out what this song is all about. So first of all, let's translate the song's title. Linguistically, the construction with von, a preposition which means of, by, or from, is rather, well, I wouldn't say incorrect, but very colloquial, because usually when you wanted to use the genitive case in a rather correct grammatical way, you'd have to say Satans Eier instead of Die Eier von Satan, which is a dative construction with von. So when it comes to good style or a more formal style in the German language, you'd rather use the genitive case. However, these days in colloquial German you very often hear von and not a genitive construction in any way, shape or form. That's also the reason why many linguists and also some Germans jokingly say that the genitive case is dying out. Feel free to check out my video about this topic in the end card of this video. As you might have figured, the neuter noun das Ei, singular, die Eier, plural, the egg, can be quite an ambiguous term in German as well. Similar to English, the noun egg might imply these kinds of eggs, or, well, these kinds of eggs, die Hoden, which is a plural term, the testicle. When we take a look at the lyrics, I'd say there's another level of ambiguity in this title. It might very well refer to the saying Eier haben, to have balls, implying to be, well, brave and tough, to do something other people would be afraid of or would not dare to. Du hast echt Eier. You really got some balls. And since it's Satan's eggs, this expression might be even underlined or strengthened. I mean, Satan usually is seen as being quite powerful. And evil, of course. Since Satan usually is rather negatively connotated in contrast to a good god or faith, this title or the referred saying might also have an evil twist to them, something you might not foresee completely before doing it. Making what is described and explained here might lead to a, well, an unforeseeable outcome for you personally if you're not experienced. What do I mean by that? Let's find that out in a couple of seconds. When you just look at the way the lyrics are structured, you can already see that they don't seem to align with usual song structures, verse, chorus, etc. Not that this wouldn't be the case with most Tool songs anyway, but hey, just wanted to point that out. So here's what the lyrics translate to in chronological order. Eine halbe Tasse Staubzucker, ein Viertel Teelöffel Salz, eine Messerspitze türkisches Haschisch, ein halbes Pfund Butter, ein Teelöffel Vanillezucker, ein halbes Pfund Mehl, 150 Gramm gemahlene Nüsse, ein wenig extra Staubzucker und keine Eier. Have a cup of powdered sugar, 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, a point of a knife of Turkish weed or marijuana. And at this point, it's obvious what this track is all about. It's simply a recipe for der Haschkeks, singular, die Haschkekse, plural, the hash cookie. Have a pound of butter, a teaspoon of vanilla sugar, have a pound of flour, 150 gram of grounded nuts, a little bit of extra powdered sugar. Und keine Eier. And no eggs. No. Or when you think about it, it could also mean something like, and no balls. You've got no balls to make these cookies or to eat them. So once more, there is another potential meaning because of the noun das Ei or die Eier. I love ambiguity. And by the way, just as a disclaimer in case someone wants to get this wrong, I'm merely quoting the song's lyrics here. My intention is not to promote making these hash cookies, all I do is simply talking and translating the lyrics. As you can see here, almost all lines begin with an unbestimmter Artikel, an indefinite article, ein, a. In many German recipes, this is a common term connected to specific phrases and amounts. For instance, ein halbes Pfund Butter, a half pound of butter, translated literally. Also, since it's a German context, terms such as Türkisches, Turkish, 150, 150, and Nüsse feature the umlaut Ü with the 2 dots. Some lyric pages, including the lyrics presented directly on Google, don't feature them, but they are there. So technically, these lyric sheets in question are grammatically false when they don't feature them. In eine Schüssel geben, Butter einrühren, gemahlene Nüsse zugeben und den Teig verkneten. Another very frequently used German term in the context of backen, to bake or baking, is der Teig, singular, die Teige, plural. But don't confuse this one with der Teich, singular, die Teiche, plural, which is the pond. Even though in spoken German many G's and ig suffixes at the end of German words usually get verbalized as ch, for instance in der König, the king, this is not possible in this case. It's der Teig and not der Teich, because simply from hearing the term and not seeing it being written, in a way, you could get a wrong impression and misunderstand this. I've actually made a whole video about this topic, so if you want to learn more, check out this one in the end card. Again, the lyrics Google provides automatically are really faulty in the sense of not displaying specific German letters correctly. Another good and obvious example is this one. Augenball What? It's actually meant to be Augenballgroße Stücke vom Teig formen. The question mark should actually be this German letter, das SZ, also known as das scharfe S, the sharp S. It's as typical as the umlaute Ä, Ö and Ü when it comes to the German alphabet. I've also dedicated a whole video about this specific letter and a new way to actually use it in the German language, which was only established, I think, well, a couple of months ago really. So if you want to check that out, feel free to do that by clicking the video in the end card of this video. Magic. Im Staubzucker wälzen und sagt die Zauberwörter Simsalabim Bamba Saladu Saladim. That might sound random, but actually this line is part of an old well-known German nursery rhyme or children's song called Auf einem Baum ein Kuckuck saß, which seems to be originating from the 19th century AD. Maybe there is a deeper meaning behind this line in these words, but I guess they just work as a way to combine to bridge and connect other lines. In the case of Tool, I guess they simply are meant to sound very occultic and mysterious, which fits Tool's overall public image quite well when you think about it. Auf ein gefettetes Backblech legen und bei 200 Grad für 15 Minuten backen. Und keine Eier. Just in case you have forgotten. As I've already mentioned in this video about hypothetical German versions of song titles by Tool, the phrase gefettetes Backblech sounds really cool to my German ears, mostly because of the close combination of similar consonants and vowels. Gefettetes Backblech. Since the lyrics are das Rezept singular, die Rezepte plural, the recipe, they don't really have an original climax, which common lyrics often have. I guess that's another reason why they added the harsh sounding line und keine Eier, which of course reminds of both Third Reich speeches and maybe even a little bit of Rammstein from today's point of view. From a German perspective, that's the funniest and most hilarious aspect about this track in particular. It sounds so industrial, so dark and mysterious, almost harsh and negative, but only to foreign ears. What seems harsh and evil isn't, which is achieved through a strong distinction and difference between the spoken intonation and the semantics of the lyrics. Of course you can make everything harmless sound very aggressive if you wanted to, but as a German I'm even more entertained by something this ridiculous in a good way. So of course I'm curious, I'd like to know, did you already know about the song's meaning and what the German lyrics actually translate to and are about? If so, or if not so, tell me in the comments down below, because as I've said before, I'm a curious person, I like to talk about music and whatnot, and yeah. I just love it. I hope you actually, well, not really love, but maybe just appreciated, just enjoyed this video as well. If you did, let me know by leaving a like, by sharing it with other people, and by listening to more Tool in the future as well, because that is something we all should agree on, and I think we all do agree on. Listening to Tool is just plain freaking awesome. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm your Vlog Dave. Tschüss und bis zum nächsten Mal. Und keine Eier!